Hare Krishna. So, it's reading today from the third canto of the 30th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ravyana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Saraswatim Vyasam Atho Jaya Mudirai Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Tyuttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. यदा ध्रुवस्य देहस्य सानुबन्धस्य दुर्मतिः ध्रुवाणि मन्यते मोहात् गृहक्षेत्र व- वसूनि च यदा ध्रुवस्य देहस्य सानुबन्धस्य दुर्मतिः ध्रुवाणि मन्यते मोहात् गृहक्षेत्र वसूनि च यदा ध्रुवस्य देहस्य सानुबन्धस्य दुर्मतिः ध्रुवाणि मन्यते मोहात् गृहक्षेत्र वस्तूनि च. Word to word meaning? Yat, because. Adhruvasya, temporary. Dehasya, of the body. Sa anubandhasya, with that which is related. Durmatihi, a misguided person. Dhruvani, permanent. Manyate, things. Mohat, because of ignorance. Graha, home. Kshetra, land. Vasuni, wealth. Cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent and that the attractions of home, land, and wealth, which are in relationship to that body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance only, he thinks that everything is permanent. The materialist thinks that a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, a crazy fellow, wasting time by chanting Hare Krishna. But actually, he does not know that he himself is in the darkest region of craziness because of accepting his body as permanent. And in relation to his body, he accepts his home, country, his society, and all other paraphernalia as permanent. This materialistic acceptance of permanency of home, land, etc., is called illusion or Maya. This is clearly mentioned here. Moha Griha Kshetra Vasuni. Out of illusion only does the materialist accept his home, land, and his money as permanent. Out of this illusion, the family life, national life, and economic development, which are very important factors in modern civilization, have grown. A Krishna conscious person knows that this economic development of human society is but a temporary illusion. In another part of Srimad Bhagavatam, the acceptance of the body as oneself and the acceptance of others as kinsmen in relationship uh, uh, to this body, and the acceptance of the land of one's birth as worshipable are declared to be the products of an animal civilization. When, however, one is enlightened in Krishna consciousness, he can use these for the service of the Lord. That is a very suitable proposition. Everything has a relationship with Krishna. When all economic development and material advancement are utilized to advance the cause of Krishna consciousness, a new phase of progressive life arises. ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च पासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I like to seek your blessings. I don't know how many Vaishnavas are actually senior to me who joined here. I like to seek your blessings and also some devotees on YouTube. We can share something what we have heard in Guru Parampara with Krishna Bhagavatam. So this is an awesome section of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from the third canto, the 30th chapter, a chapter entitled Description by Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. All right. So we understand, just to set the context of this particular Srimad Bhagavatam verse, that Lord Kapila is the son of Devahuti and Kardamuni, right? And Kardamuni, after his son was born, of course, it's a long past time. Just you might be hearing this since many days, but just to cut it short. So, Kardamuni married Devahuti, and when on the condition that as soon as the son is born, then I will leave to the forest, right? So then, as soon as that son who was Lord Kapila was born, then Kardamuni left the forest. And interestingly, in case of Kardamuni, it's pretty interesting to see why do we leave to the forest? I mean, if you want to take the Vanaprastha ashram, one goes to achieve Krishna. But here, Krishna himself is there as Kapila. But then it's interesting to note that Kardamuni still goes to the forest, although Krishna is at his home. But this Prabhupada writes in the purport is just to set an example and also to follow social order. So that is the answer to that question. So Kardamuni leaves to the forest, and Mother Devahuti, she inquires from Kapila about the science of devotional service. So those are the golden chapters in the devotional service. You can see the third canto, 25th chapter, and then like that's continuing now. In the 26th chapter, it tells about the fundamental principles of material nature, and in the 27th chapter, it's about understanding of material nature, and finally, after explaining about devotion service, currently the explanation is about the adverse fruitive activities what are going on. And in this particular shloka, what is there? 3.30. All right. Just before the shloka, yesterday we saw that how Mother Kapila, he mentioned that, my dear mother, it is sometimes said that we experience hell or heaven on this planet for hellish punishment, for sometimes visible on this planet also. So currently, in 3.30, where sorry, it's 3.30.3, where we see that the context of this particular discussion is how the misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent, and the attract and that attraction to whom wealth, um, land, which are in relation to that body, are also temporary. So to a degree we understand the futility of this material world. That degree we will be able to take Krishna consciousness also seriously. Because I was reading in the 11th canto, there Prabhupada writes that one who has understood the futility of this material world, he can take uh, shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Right? Of course, it doesn't mean that if you have not understood fidelity, is not take the shelter, but one can really take serious shelter. To a degree, he has understood the futility of this material world. So the things are so temporary in this world. We see that, right? So misguided materialist. See here in this case, it mentioned misguided materialist. So one important theme. So we'll discuss two, three themes today. So one important theme is that materialist, he thinks that devotees are crazy, and devotees think that materialists are crazy. Because it's difficult for both of them to understand each of their activities, because a materialist just cannot fathom that how we can just sit in a place and chant for 2 hours. That's something, and what do you get out of it? Because in the material world, we have been from the beginning of our life, we have been trained in passion. We've been trained to be passionate. Passion is what? Anchoring and lamentation. So I do something to get something. That's passion. Basically, in the sense that, okay, I do the work, I get salary. So then now I'm doing dual service. What do I get? So that's what people ask sometimes. But that's not what we should ask. We should ask, oh, I'm so fortunate to get an opportunity to engage in service of Radha Krishna for millions of lifetimes. Engage in service of the Vaishnavas. So this is a Vaishnavas mode. Now, this cannot be understood by a materialist so easily, right? So that's why it's our duty to preach. To a degree, so here in the translation it says misguided materialist. So see, because he is misguided, he does not know that the body is impermanent. And see, unless one has got the mercy of a pure devotee of Krishna, it is very difficult for anyone to understand the temporary nature of this material world. And that's why we should all read Sri Prabhupada books regularly, attending Srimad Bhagavatam classes like this daily. Even we all make it a practice that wherever we are, even brahmacharis who are traveling, we ensure that we hear a Srimad Bhagavatam class. Because when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So by hearing Prabhupada very interestingly writes in translation to this verse that by regular attendance in the class of Srimad Bhagavatam, all that is troublesome to the heart is actually taken away, and what is established? Supreme loving devotional service. Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Bhakti is established in the heart of a devotee. So that is why we hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily, whether someone comes or someone does not come. We want to hear about Krishna. That is our eagerness. That's what is a devotee's aspiration. That I want to hear about Krishna. I want to please Krishna. The very fact that if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam class, that pleases Krishna. That itself is a sufficient impetus for a devotee to hear about Krishna, because it will please Krishna. Now, for a materialist, what is his aspiration? That, okay, what do I get? Right? So he feels that devotees are wasting time, but he does not know that a devotee of Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna, he is doing the supreme service. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kore Sudhudana Shai. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. So this is Shraddha. As per Shri Charitamrita, we understand that devotee's faith is just by chanting Hare Krishna, that is a supreme service to Krishna. So that is the devotee's mindset, right? That's why we all, to a degree, we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we associate with saintly Vaishnavas. To that degree, we will be able to understand this science, what is being mentioned over here, or what is being explained over here. So here, and we see that how a materialist, so Prabhupada mentions the purport that everything in relation to his body, he accepts his home, country, his society as permanent. Like so Prabhupada, he once went to a Grahasta's home, and when he went to his home, one person's home, this person was continuously for 10 15 minutes speaking about this is my family, these are my children, these are my grandchildren, these are my uncles, and like this, he just went on and on and on. So then, Prabhupada, after coming out, he was telling to the devotees that see how much. For so much time, he was telling about his expansion, whatever he had done, and he thinks that these things are permanent. So we know there is this four things. I have a very nice video to show to you about this, and then I will explain. I got this video. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. Please let me know if the audio is let me know if it's audible. This video is very much related to this verse. So that's why I'll explain that in a minute. Is it audible and visible? Yeah, this is a story of four wives. Just 4 minutes, and then we will continue the elaboration on this. Is the sound audible, Prabhu?
There was a rich merchant who had four wives. He loved the fourth wife the most, and adorned her with rich robes and treated her to delicacies. He took great care of her and gave her nothing but the best. He also loved the third wife very much. He's very proud of her and always wanted to show off her to his friends. However, the merchant is always in great fear that she might run away with some other men. He too loved his second wife. She is a very considerate person, always patient, and in fact is the merchant's confidant. Whenever the merchant faced some problems, he always turned to his second wife, and she would always help him out and tide him through difficult times. Now the merchant's first wife is a very loyal partner and has made great contributions in maintaining his wealth and business as well as taking care of the household. However, the merchant did not love the first wife, and although she loved him deeply, he hardly took notice of her. One day, the merchant fell ill. Before long, he knew that he was going to die soon. He thought of his luxurious life and told himself, "Now I have 4 wives with me, but when I die, I'll be alone. How lonely I'll be." Thus, he asked the fourth wife, "I love you most, endowed you with the finest clothing and showered great care over you. Now that I'm dying, will you follow me and keep me company?" "No way," replied the fourth wife, and she walked away without another word. The answer cut like a sharp knife right into the merchant's heart. The sad merchant then asked the third wife, "I have loved you so much for all of my life. Now that I'm dying, will you follow me and keep me company?" "No," replied the third wife. "Life is so good over here. I'm going to remarry when you die." The merchant's heart sank and turned cold. He then asked the second wife, "I always turn to you for help, and you've always helped me out. Now I need your help again. When I die, will you follow me and keep me company?" "I'm sorry, I can't help you out this time," replied the second wife. "At the very most, I can only send you to your grave." The answer came like a bolt of thunder, and the merchant was devastated. Then a voice called out, "I'll leave with you. I'll follow you no matter where you go." The merchant looked up, and there was his first wife. She was so skinny, almost like she suffered from malnutrition. Greatly grieved, the merchant said, "I should have taken much better care of you while I could have." Actually, we all have 4 wives in our lives. The fourth wife is our body. No matter how much time and effort we lavish in making it look good, it'll leave us when we die. Our third wife? Our possessions, status, and wealth. When we die, they all go to others. The second wife is our family and friends. No matter how close they had been there for us when we're alive, the furthest they can stay by us is up to the grave. The first wife is in fact our soul, often neglected in our pursuit of material, wealth, and sensual pleasure. Guess what? It is actually the only thing that follows us wherever we go. Perhaps it's a good idea to cultivate and strengthen it now, rather than to wait until we're on our deathbed to lament.
Yeah, it's a very instructive video. Of course, here there's a small catch in this. At the end, he says the fourth wife is the soul. Of course, here in this case, we are that personality. But how we see that the wealth or the homeland things of this world are very temporary, right? As we are discussing today, the futility of this material world, and out of illusion, one accepts the materialist form. See, uh, here when we read this purport, Prabhupada does not mean that okay, if you marry, then if you marry, then your wife, home, and all is illusion. That's not what he means. See, for those of us who are married, then or who are going to marry, then we should see that we understand the temporary nature of these things and utilize them in service of Krishna. So, for a devotee who is in the Grihastha ashram or aspiring for Grihastha ashram, then he understands that, okay, I have a home, I have let's say he'll have to have a home and then or whatever, right? Land, wealth, bank balance, and all those things. But how does a devotee see that? Okay, I'll engage all of these in Krishna service. So, I'll take care of my child as a service to Krishna. Will raise him up in at most Krishna conscious way possible. Or a devotee knows that okay, he may have his bank account, but all the Lakshmi in the bank account actually belongs to Krishna. So I will use it all in service to Krishna, going for yatras, for building a home for my family, who are all devotees of Krishna. So in that way, a devotee of Krishna is always Krishna conscious because he sees that uh, things are temporary, and knowing the temporary nature of this world, engaging them in Krishna consciousness. That is bhakti. Now, when out of ignorance he thinks that yeah, this is all in all in life, and then I just have to be at home only, and then just the goal of my life is earning more and more wealth, and just being with the people, then that is ignorance. That earning more and more wealth is not the goal of one's life. Earning what we want to earn is the blessings of the Vaishnavas. See, a devotee's aspiration, we are discussing here that how a materialist, what he thinks and what is the difference between the thinking process of a materialist and a devotee, right? Devotee, what he thinks, I want to collect more and more blessings in my life. I want to please Krishna. I want to please Hari. I want to please Guru. I want to please the Vaishnavas. So this is the devotee's mindset. And by serving the Vaishnavas around, he collects their blessings. And as a result, he knows that he's not wasting his time by chanting Hare Krishna or doing other things. Now, on the other hand, whatever a materialist does, be it having multiple PhD degrees or having crores of bank balance or a lot of land in one's name, ancestral property or one's own property, right? When one leaves his body, it's all zero. And in his next life, he starts from Baba, black sheep, have a very well, all the way from zero. So we understand that whatever a materialist does, if it is not in connection to Krishna, then anything which is not in connection to Krishna, It is actually temporary. So knowing that these are temporary, a devotee of the Lord is very intelligent to always engage in the service of the Lord. Always think of Krishna. Whenever we get time, hear a lecture on lecture or glorious Srimad Bhagavatam or hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, when we engage in service of Krishna, then we are no more longer in ignorance. And here also it mentions as in the purport, misguided materialist does not know that his body is impermanent. So similarly, to a degree, we are misguided in our life. To that degree, I think that this body is permanent, or and this body. That's why it's very important for all of us also in our lives to take guidance from the senior Vaishnavas, from the gurus around. Right? So the Grihastha, those of us who are in the Grihastha ashram, we take guidance from the senior Grihastha. Those of us who are in Brahmachari, we take guidance from senior Brahmacharis. All of us should take guidance from someone. Guidance is a very, very important factor. If this guidance is not there, then our mind will take us for a toss. Manorathenam satitavato bahir. Because for billions of lifetimes, I've been following the mind. And what the mind says, so this lifetime, like Prabhupada once, Prabhupada told Bhakti Charan Maharaj, give this one life to Krishna. Similarly, this one life, let us, with full heart, see how we can be guided by Krishna. Giving heart to Krishna is what we want to actually please Krishna. And how do we know what pleases Krishna? Through the Vaishnavas. Because we're not on a level where we can directly speak to Krishna, but the Vaishnavas around, they speak to us and they tell us that this is what will please Krishna. So if we are desiring to please the Vaishnavas, then that is what will please Krishna. So here we can see in this purport, that's what it says. And at the end, towards the end also, he says that a Krishna conscious person knows that this economic development of the human society is but a temporary illusion. Yeah, no matter how much economic development one does, one cannot go through, one cannot put a full stop to these problems, birth, death, old age, and disease. We only see that to a degree we go away from Krishna. To that degree, one suffers. You see that so many diseases coming around, so much of suffering is there around people. We can practically feel samsara davanala. So we can feel this davanala in our life. We can see it around also. How to a degree, people not Krishna conscious. So much of fear, lamentation is there in this world. But a devotee of Krishna, he is, let's say, I was hearing lectures or something. Krishna Das, Bindas, Maya Das, Sadao Das. So a devotee of Krishna is Bindas because he knows that, okay, I'm performing my devotional service. Even if I now leave this body, I know that Krishna knows what is best for me. He will take me to the best destination wherever he wills. Let me go, Lord. So a devotee of Krishna, he is always he knows that Krishna knows what is best for me. So under this circumstance, a devotee of Krishna does activities, whereas a person who is not aware of this knowledge or is not following this process, then it becomes very difficult for him. And that's where our responsibility lies. That we have to spread this message of Krishna consciousness in whatever way possible. This is the month of book distribution. We go out for distributing the books, and even otherwise, the other man, wherever whomever we meet, we try to give them Krishna in whatever way possible. So in this way, when we know that the things of this world are not permanent, then we will be very happy to engage in Krishna's service. Right? In fact, a devotee should be very, very happy and enthusiastic to engage in Krishna's service. Now, the next part of this is in another part of Srimad is it of body? Body is oneself. Yeah, the body of a person is very dear to oneself. Why? I was hearing in one lecture that Vijay Krishnapu was telling us, very nice lecture. So Prabhuji in one lecture, he was mentioning that why the body is very dear to oneself. Because there is a soul present in the body. Because when the soul leaves the body, then the body is no longer attractive, right? That's why even uh, wife who embraces her husband or husband who embraces his wife, the moment the soul leaves the body, then that same personality who was before embracing, they will want to send him to the graveyard very fast. Why is that? So, because the body is only beautiful or there because of presence of soul. So why person likes his body? Because he loves the soul, or because of presence of soul. Now, why does he? Why do we love the soul? Why do we like the soul? Why do we attach the soul? Of- because soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So ultimately, all of us we love Krishna. That is the understanding, right? So that was a very nice thing that I heard from Vajakrishna Prabhuji when I was lecture sharing how we all have an innate tendency to love Krishna, and because we love Krishna, we extend that love also to others. So that's why. So to a degree, I think that I'm the body. So to that degree, it becomes uh, it's not right that we are the body. Even we can analyze it ourselves. See, we're not the body; we are the spirit soul. The body is not what we are. If I just cut a part of my body, I was reading yesterday in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, there the disciples of Prabhupada, right? If you just cut one part of the body, then the remaining part of the body also goes on functioning. It's not that the whole body will stop, right? If I cut a part of my hand or like so, so we understand we are different. Of course, we don't have to physically perform it to know that we are different, but we know that we are different from the body. Even understanding, we say my stomach or my hand. We don't say I have. So even intuitively, we ask a person. If I say this is my specs, what does it mean? Specs is different, I am different. Similarly, when we say the body, we don't say I body, we say my body. So even intuitively in our day-to-day conversations, we mention that how it is my body, my stomach, which means that I am different and the body is different, right? So and acceptance of our kinsman in relation to the body and is worshipable are declared out of animal civilization. Yeah. So if to a degree we accept our body as oneself, to that degree we will not be happy. And when one is enlightened in Krishna consciousness, he will use everything for service of the Lord. Yeah, a devotee of Krishna engages everything in service of Krishna. Like Sri Prabhupada. Once he heard that one of the Swamiji's, his photo had come in the paper because he had told no to money. Someone was giving him some money and then he told no, and then the people click his photo and then he says, "Oh, how renounced this person is." And so Prabhupada told his disciples, "Bring me a lot of money. I will hug it. And you take my photo of me hugging that money." Then disciples were like, "Okay, Prabhupada, can you explain this? Why you're telling like this?" And Prabhupada said, "Yeah, because I can engage each of that penny in Krishna service. I know that I will not utilize any of this for sense gratification, but I will engage each of these in Krishna service, right? So this is a devotee. A devotee of Krishna, he can use anything for the service of Krishna. Like Krishna Prabhupada. He used flights for service of Krishna. And he traveled all around the globe so many times. Why? So that he can spread this message of Krishna consciousness. So that is why it's very important for us to have gratitude for Srila Prabhupada for what he has done. Going back to the point that everything has a relationship with Krishna. Yes, everything has a relationship with Krishna because we know as we chant attentively, as we read Sri Prabhupada books, we know that we learn to see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. You know, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Aham sarvasya prabhavo atta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samandita. Krishna is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. He says that we know that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna in not only everyone, but even whatever material things we see in this world are all expansion of Krishna. Right? I was with one senior devotee in one of the yatras. So there, as soon as he saw the sun, I saw him paying respect to the sun. He was doing like this to the sun. Then I asked him, Prabhuji, but at that time I was in my second year. Then I asked him, Prabhuji, why you are paying respect to the sun? See, we are chanting Hare Krishna. Na? So then, is it needed? Because we know that if we yata taror mol nisheshanena, we know that if we water the root of the tree, the whole tree is satisfied. So if we just chant Hare Krishna, I'm satisfied. So if I see the sun, then why should I offer my respect? He said, no, no, no. Sun is actually one of the eyes of Krishna. We know that sun and moon are two eyes of Krishna from Bhagavad Gita. We know that the energy, what is there, the source of all that energy of the sun is also Krishna. We also, those of us who are second initiated, even in the Gayatri Mantra, it comes. So we know that we see things, so devotee of Krishna sees things in connection to Krishna. Then the devotee made it clear that why he offers respect to the sun also. So that is the whole point, that a devotee sees everything in relationship with Krishna. A devotee sees that whatever circumstances are coming in my life, they are also because of will of Krishna. So in any situation, when we see everything in relationship with Krishna, we will always be happy because we know that Krishna has the best plan for us. Typical example is this Pandavas or the Vrajavasis. The moment Krishna came in the life of Vrajavasis, all their peace was destroyed. Like demons started coming into Vrindavan. See, the moment Krishna appeared, sixth day from that only Putna came. And then the series of demons started coming, right? So we understand that when Krishna came into their lives, it is not so-called peaceful life always for them. But the amazing part is at each of that circumstance of these Vijavasis, whatever problem they face, they always remember Krishna. Once these Gopals, they were in the forest and they saw the forest fire. The moment they saw the forest fire, they called Krishna, Krishna. And Krishna was there, and then he told, close your eyes. And Krishna, they, with faith in Krishna, they closed their eyes, and Krishna annihilated the whole forest fire. So whatever happened in Brajavasi's life, they would always remember Krishna. Be it Govardhan Hill, be it standing 7 days, 7 nights under a huge hill, right? So they had so much faith in Krishna because they knew that, yeah, Krishna is our life and soul. Coming back to the point of even the Pandavas, right? The Pandavas, they had so many situations in their life, be it Kunti Maharani or the Yudhishthir Maharaj, or Pandavas were shooed off to the forest, and then we know how the attempts were made to kill them alive in the Varnavat Lakshatra, and then so many of Bhima was fed a poison cake. So many of these problems came, but amidst all these problems, they were always remembering Krishna. So Draupadi, we know that how once Draupadi, this is a very amazing pastime that when once Krishna was cutting some fruits, I heard, and that time his hand got cut and blood was coming. And that day, Draupadi had worn a new sari. And the moment she saw blood in Krishna's hand, then without a second thought, she tore a part of the sari and then she gave it to Krishna. And Krishna was able to put that. And then Krishna smiled at her and said, I'll reciprocate with you one day. And and that day, when in the Asat Sabha, when she was dragged with her hairs and she was being stripped, attempt was made to strip her naked. That is when she called out, Hey Govinda, Hey Gopishana Vallabha. She called out, Hey Dwarka Vasin. So she, with her bottom of her heart, she called out for Krishna. And that time Krishna came and he supplied unlimited amount of sari. So we know that Pandavas, whatever situation they had in their life, they always remember Krishna. They always saw everything in connection to Krishna. In fact, Kunti Maharani, after all the problems were, taken care by Krishna and they were saved, again she prays, Vipada Tantuta Shashvat, Tadakata Jagat Guru, Vato Darshanam Yatsyat, Apunar Bhava Darshanam. So, because she's able to see all these problems in relationship with Krishna. Although at certain pastimes, what we see, Krishna is not physically there, but still she's able to see that in relation to Krishna. Example, the Varnavat Lakshakra example. So in that case, Krishna was not physically there when attempt was made to burn them alive. So Vidura sent them a coded message that this is, he sent them a coded message indicating to Yudhishthir Maharaj that this palace is going to burn up. So then they dug up a surang from there, from below. But then the point is, in this entire episode, Krishna was not physically present, but Kunti Mahani is able to see the hand of Krishna in her life. So, like this, in every situation in our life, if we see the hand of Krishna, everything, we know that it has a relationship with Krishna. Uh, uh, Everything in this world, what is happening? is happening under the will of Krishna. So when we know this, then we'll be very peaceful, and we'll try our best to do what is possible from our side to engage in service of Krishna. And here at the end, he says, when all the economic development and material advancement are utilized for to advance the cause of Krishna consciousness, new phase of progressive life arises. Yeah, and we see that how even the modern day current Prabhupada disciples, so many of them, they utilize all of the technology in Krishna service. We know that it's not a negation. They know that it is Yukta Vairagya. That is engaging everything in a service of Krishna. I want to please Krishna in my life. I want to see how best I can serve. Whatever is needed for service of Krishna, that I will use. So it is not that one is attached to the instruments, but one is attached to serving Krishna. He's not attached to the things needed for service of Krishna. He's attached to Krishna. And now whatever is favorable for those, for him to execute his service, the devotee uses that. For example, if we know that so many of the senior Prabhupada disciples, they fly around in planes, know that it saves time. So even Srila Prabhupada, it's very amazing. In one lecture, Vijay Krishna Prabhuji was very nicely telling how Srila Prabhupada, just before Srila Prabhupada came, Krishna had a best arrangement for everyone. He knows what is best for us, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted, Prithiviti Achyata Nagaragram, Sarata Prachar Bhava now. So when Sarata Prachar has to happen, then the traveling also should happen of the Pracharaks. So in that case, so that's when in the 1900s, early 1900s, the Wright brothers actually started the invention of planes. And by the time of 1940s, 50s, or 60s, the planes were already up and started. And that's exactly when Shiva Baba went to the West. Once he went, only while going, he went in the ship, the Western Harbor. And after that, Prabhupada was mostly traveling around in planes. So, see, this is the arrangement of Krishna. That, okay, my devotee has to travel. So, if my devotee has to travel, then something should be there for his travel. And that's when, if we connect back the link, so we understand that Krishna has a best plan for everyone. Right? So Prabhupada utilized everything in Krishna's service. We know printing press. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he didn't negate the printing press. In fact, he gave the instruction to our dear grandfather, Sri Prabhupada, that whenever you get money, print books. So this was the instruction what he gave to Sri Prabhupada, and he himself also in his mutt had printing presses. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur used to say, when I hear the sound of the printing press, it gives me ecstasy. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was more happy to hear the sound. So we know that our acharyas, they utilized whatever possible in Krishna's service. Right? So that's how even following their footsteps under guidance, whatever we are told to use, we also use it in Krishna's service. So that's when we can please Krishna, because a devotee's goal is what in life, that he wants to please Krishna. And how do I know what please Krishna? I please the representatives of Krishna, because the representative of Krishna tell me what is Krishna. The representative of Krishna, what do they tell? To read the Prabhupada books, and and the temple programs. Even see the bhakti process is so sublime that any activity we do, if we just do it with proper consciousness, that will please Krishna. And how to do it with proper consciousness? That is what we learn from our superiors or social masters, right? We are cooking in the kitchen. Right? Cooking in the kitchen is not so, for those of us who do it daily, and we understand it over a period of time, it becomes a routine kind of thing. But if we put our heart in that, knowing that, oh, this will be offered to Krishna, what I am cooking, one lecture I was hearing, they're telling that it is not that only when you offer, okay, I put the bhoga in the bhoga plate and then put tulsi and then put the prasam prayers, that is when Krishna honors. Yeah, that is there. That is when Krishna honors. But even when we are cooking, if we are cooking in a humble service attitude mood, that yes, what we are doing is being offered to Krishna. If the Mataji, when they're doing garland, they're thinking, yeah, this garland will be offered to Krishna. At that very moment, when we are doing that service, Krishna is accepting our service. Right? So we know that, of course, it does not mean that we should not do offering. We should do offering, that's all when Krishna. But the point is, the very moment when we are performing the service, that moment Krishna is accepting our service, we know that. So a devotee of Krishna knows that Krishna accepts my service, and I want to please Krishna in my life. So this is a consciousness of a devotee. So when we know these things, then our life, whatever activity we do, be it serving the Vaishnavas, be it reading Prabhupada books, even our office work, if we are in office, it is not that office work is Maya. If we know, if we are told by our special master to do or our superiors to do the office work, and then other time we engage in Krishna service and we do office work also as an offering to Krishna. Yad karoshi yad ashnashi yad duhoshi das yad yad bhaktavasvati kauntaya. That Krishna Magarpanam. We offer everything to Krishna, and that is not Maya. It is a service to Krishna. So each of we have the four varnas: there's brahmachari, there's a grihastha, there's a vanaprastha, and there's sannyasi. So in each of these varnas, people have their duties. So to a degree, people perform their duties as a service to Krishna, as for the pleasure of Krishna. But to that degree, Krishna will be pleased. We know that. So that is very important. And to just summarize what we discussed today, we discussed that how we know that if a misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent, and attraction to his home, land, and wealth, which are relationship with the body, are also temporary. So we know, we saw how things are so temporary in this world, and to a degree, we understand the futility of this material world. And to that degree, we will also be able to surrender to the bona fide special master very seriously. We know, and also we saw out of ignorance only one thinks everything to be permanent. Yeah, everything is not permanent. Where is Alexander the Great? Right? Where are those great kings who were ruling this world thousands of years ago? And that time they were the greatest. So we know that everything is not permanent in this world, including ourselves, including the body in which we are staying. And the only thing permanent in this world, apart from Jiva and Krishna, is the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because that's what will remain. Right? What bhakti we do, that's what is going to take us ahead, and that's the only thing which is permanent. So out of ignorance, only one thinks that oh, everything is permanent, what he does. So we saw that everything is not permanent. How things of this world, if to a degree we see it different from Krishna, to that degree it's illusion, and to a degree we see them in a connection to Krishna and use them in service of Krishna for the pleasure of spiritual master, then that is not illusion, right? We saw that in detail, and then we saw how Krishna conscious person engages everything in service of Krishna, being enlightened in Krishna consciousness. Right? So that way, if we engage all our activities in Krishna service for the pleasure of Krishna, then that will please Krishna. Let's end with this last thing. We are hearing definition of pure devotion service. All of our aspirations is pure devotion service, right? So what is pure devotion service? Reading in Sri Prabhupada books that any activity done under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master for the pleasure of Krishna is pure devotional service. Two criteria: under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master with the desire to please Krishna. So if we do these two things, and that is what is pure devotional service, and that will please Krishna very much. And whatever activities we do, then we know that they are not permanent, and sorry, whatever activities to a degree we see them different from Krishna, we know that they are not actually Krishna conscious, and we know that this body is temporary, and whatever things related to this body are temporary. Then we don't aspire for things of this world, but we only aim for Krishna. A devotee of Krishna is very greedy to please Krishna, whereas a materialist is just very greedy to earn his own wealth and other things. So we saw that. So thank you very much for your present listening. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So any questions or clarifications or additions or comments if your senior Vaishnavas have or Vaishnavis have, please add. If not, then we will end here. I don't see anything. So if not, then thank you very much for joining. Oh, Vijay is here. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Do you want to add something? Sorry, I did not see.
I was waiting for you in the ashram. I thought you'll give class here.
Oh, sorry, sorry. I didn't see.
Thank you. It's nice, wonderful class. You spoke so nicely.
Well, whatever we learned from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.